It's 6 o'clock, Friday the 13th. Woo! The second one for this year. One more to come in November. 2015, Christchurch, New Zealand. Here we are, a warm late summer evening, and this is a photo here of some loquats. What have I got? There's 7, I think it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One got a bit munched by a snail or something. It's recovered. And these were seeds collected almost exactly a year ago, somewhere around about January, February 2014, by a friend staying from Australia who will remain nameless, but they'll know who they are. And they're out collecting, doing some photos around the remains of abandoned houses in the red zone and all that sort of thing. And there was a loquat shrub or tree, which is very rare here in Christchurch, New Zealand, although they grow amazingly well, because everyone here is an idiot and doesn't plant them except for me. But anyway, there was an abandoned tree on a tree growing still on some abandoned land that hadn't been bulldozed or whatever. And my friend brought some fruits back, which we shared, and I saved the seeds. And they sprouted that autumn, and I had more than this, but some of them died off. Just normal seedling die-off, not particularly cold or anything. They are a very cold tolerant, although they're originally from tropics area like Vietnam. But here we go, there's a 2 litre milk jug there to show scale. I'll just slow down to be sort of parallel. So you can see they're doing very well now, very well. In individual pots, obviously. Now I separated them out at the end of winter, around spring, and as I say, but a few of them have died over winter. So left me with these 7, and hopefully the that's actually Acacia iteaphylla, a South Australian native behind it. I've got a bunch of seedlings of them growing, and doing very nicely. I am just going to move the camera around. I'm just backing up slowly. This is a, I'll look at the label for it's a Mogi, actually I've remembered. This is a loquat, it's a named cultivar, which I bought a grafted one from a garden centre. And so its height's now about 7 feet, 8 feet. It nearly died, but it's come back. It's only in a plastic tub thing at the bottom. I've got another one there, Kusanoki. The first one actually died. That was probably a bit of my fault, but again, that's a proper grafted one, as in from a nursery they had to pay a lot of money for. I've had fruit before off of the previous Kusanoki before it died. And just while I've got the camera here, there's some blackcurrants just grown from pencil-sized cuttings that I took last winter, and they're already, not quite a metre high, but getting towards it for the bigger ones here. Certainly well over half a metre, so about half a metre. Just under half a metre for the small ones. 4 in a pot there. That's, I think it's a pineapple guava, is a popular name. It's the cold tolerant guava anyway. Not to be confused with the Feijoa, which is also sometimes called, I think, strawberry guava. This might be, or the other way around, I've got the names. Anyway, this is the Pisidium one, that is the cold tolerant and frost tolerant one. It's never given me any fruits. As you see at the moment, it's got, 50 fruits on it or something. It could be 100 fruits. Certainly last autumn, they just all sort of fell off over winter with none of them ripening. It is an evergreen. Tolerates the climate here. Certainly the plant grows well, I just haven't had any fruit off it. Again, that's only in a bucket size, so that's a 10 litre pot. And just behind that, with the ferny looking foliage, we're looking south now. That's actually the evergreen Albizia. Maybe Albizia gilibriscens or something, but Albizia something. The deciduous one is found around Christchurch occasionally, or in nurseries or garden centres for sale. I've never in Christchurch seen the evergreen one before. They grow very much quicker if they can tolerate the cold. So it sort of needs a sheltered spot in winter. That again is just in a pot. Actually smaller than a bucket, less than the 10 litres. I might have to move that right up close to the house in winter. And I'll just continue turning, as I say, just while I've got the camera out and we're doing this. Heavy cloud cover at the moment, so although we're still about an hour and a half away from sunset, but the heavy cloud cover means I'm getting light into all the angles, so on a sunny day I can't film as well with this. That's what New Zealand's called a black boy peach. I never known it to be available in Australia. It may have a high chill requirement. The peach itself, the outside looks black, the inside's very dark red, and it's considered to be a tiny bit tart and more a cooking peach, but I like them even just if they're ripe. And again, I took that in winter, and actually the tree was fully evergreen when I took it. It just did not get the message to go deciduous. And I dug it up, and obviously it was next to a concrete path. I had to hack off 90% of its roots, and it really wasn't very happy. The leaves died without turning as such, and I kept it in the pot and kept it watered and thought it would not live. And then in spring, after everything else had come out into leaf, well and truly, it suddenly came out in leaf. So apparently it's very late in coming out in leaf, and very late in losing them. And I'm just moving the camera around. That's Acacia iteaphylla. That one, it's given me hundreds of seeds now. It's 6 or so years old. It's in about a 25 litre pot, I'd say. About 16-inch diameter, or 400mm at the top. Its total height's about 6 or 7 feet. And it gives flowers most autumns and winter, but if we get a bit of a colder winter or some snow, it won't carry any seed through. There was a few seed pods on it earlier this year. I don't know what's happened to them now. They've probably dropped off. I think, though, that these iteaphyllas, the ones behind the Loquat, if my memory serves correctly, that was from a batch of seed I imported in the early 2000s when you could declare your seed to customs and they would let you bring it in. Now, even if you did declare your seed to customs and they inspect it, they just steal it off you anyway. But yeah, so it could have been seed off of that parent one in an earlier year, but I'm fairly sure it was actually my seed from Australia, because it was something like I was pleasantly surprised by the number I got up, because they was about 12 years old, that seed. But acacia seed is known to live for many years. Anyway, I'll just give you another look. There's that 2-litre milk bottle. Sorry, they've got this crate in the way. I'll just move that pallet, half-size forklift pallet. So there's the milk bottle for scale, a 2-litre milk bottle. And there's those Loquat Eribotrya japonica. I'll let you spell it correctly, but Eribotrya japonica. Yes, like a lot of things with the word japonica in it, it doesn't come from Japan. It's just when the Europeans found it, it was in Japan. But I think it's native to somewhere up nearer to Vietnam. It's actually a distant relative of the apple and pear family. And as 1 or 2 spits of rain just come in, the Mogi, the grafted one, that came from a garden centre, still had to be ordered in. That's actually grafted onto quince rootstock. So European quince, well, old world quince, whatever it is, I don't know, quince rootstock. I think they're from Asia, quinces. And that's again one of the, so a Loquat onto quince rootstock. It's one of the few examples where you can actually plant, where you can actually graft an evergreen onto deciduous rootstock. And you might think, well, the roots will stop sending its sap in autumn. No, because the top of the plant is actually sending chemical messages down to the roots. And it's actually telling the plant, hey, keep sending me sap, dude, keep sending me sap, dude. And the roots keep sending sap up. So, so there are some times, normally plants, if they're grafted, are grafted to very close relatives. But there are some occasions when successful grafting can happen to quite distant relatives. And even in the case of putting evergreens on deciduous stock or deciduous on evergreen stock. There we go. That was the whole idea of this one, Loquat. Eribotrya japonica seedlings, be just on a year old now, tiny bit more than a year, about 13 months, maybe 14 months. As you see, in just a beautiful health. I don't know how this camera does if I go closer to the leaves, just want to show a bit of detail. And they do have a slightly furry, velvety touch to them. And if you're thinking they look a little wee bit like the leaves on the evergreen magnolia, yes, they do a little bit. They just sort of have that look about them a little bit. And you notice the younger ones are much paler, light green colour, and the older ones are quite a deep dark green. So I think perhaps this one over here, you can see that more pronounced, that difference. And that's all for now. And I'll catch you all later. Bye.